My name is Vang, and I work with Monica here in the Instruction Outreach Services. And Monica is at a conference today. She was there Wednesday. I think tomorrow she'll be flying back in. And that's the reason why we're meeting with you today. And I'm really happy that each of you has been able to make it to this last meeting. And what we are going to do today is we will do a bit intro, because we have a new group that we didn't get to meet from our first meeting. And then we'll talk a little bit with the librarians that you're assigned to, and then for about 5 minutes each, just explain what you've done so far, and what changes you are thinking about doing or that you have done, and just so that everybody has a general idea where everybody is at. So, is that good? And let's go ahead and meet the newest group. That's Jane's group down in the physical therapist. And go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Preeti Deshpande Oza, Associate Professor of Physical Therapy. And we both are working together on a research curriculum. I do the second and the third course, while Cheryl does the first course. And we're trying to integrate evidence-based practice through the entire continuum, from the first to the third course. So we are looking for ideas for assignments which will make our students go and look up evidence-based literature.
I'm Cheryl Hickey, Sully in the physical therapy department. So it's pretty timely with what's happening in our profession, because we're bringing the independent DPT here to Fresno State, and the big drive in our profession is that everything will be from an evidence-based perspective. And so this, and that goes hand in hand with students becoming literate in this area.
All right, I'm from psychology, and in our department, we're developing pilot projects that we can share with our colleagues to incorporate information literacy activities into our classes. I actually started doing this last semester after going to the syllabus redesign workshop. I got all inspired. And so last semester in my abnormal psychology class, I developed an information literacy online module that they did instead of meeting in class one day. And then I had follow-up assignments based on that, where they were evaluating web pages and talking about accuracy of information about mental illness on the web, stereotyping stigmas that could come out from media pertaining to mental illness. This semester, I'm trying to extend that into my multicultural psychology class. And so they'll do the same information literacy module instead of a class meeting. And then I'm working on changing the web analysis assignments to be more appropriate for multicultural literacy. And so the problem there is trying to define multicultural literacy or multicultural information literacy. It was pretty easy with abnormal psychology to have students look for stigma, bias, and things like that. In multicultural psych, I think it's going to be really important to look for bias. But in terms of anything out there that says, okay, this is multicultural information literacy, things like that. And I'm having trouble finding topic-based websites. Certainly you can have the students go to the academic literature and find essays and reflections. You can have them search, some of the news databases for things like that, but in terms of finding very good kind of expert-based web pages, I'm having trouble finding those for them. So I'm still kind of conceptualizing the kind of assignment I'm going to have them do that involves them doing like Google searching and finding good things, because that's what students do, is they Google search, and it's kind of like shaping them from the Google search into a more refined web search activity. The kind of assignments don't really need them to go to the more academic databases that we're doing. That's why I'm thinking just really internet-based information literacy is kind of more of my focus. So.
I'm from linguistics, and my project involves my linguistics 111 writing class, which is a more advanced writing class. And for this project, I actually changed my textbook. From my last semester, I got a new textbook, a totally new textbook, and then I changed my syllabus to based on this new textbook. So for my project, I will take my students step by step towards a synthesis that's writing two 5-paragraph essays and one big research paper, which is 2,000 words. So the 3 assignments in the library involve first how to look for information online and how to record this information and how to record the references. So they will learn the proper citations and proper listing of references. And then the second assignment involves how information is categorized in, on a topic in an article. Okay, and then they will do their categorization of 3 topics. And then the third one is just prepping for the synthesis essays and big research.
Okay. My project has been linked to a language, culture, and society course that I've been teaching, and I too have made some modifications. I'm actually trialing some of these things this semester. So there are 2 kind of bigger projects linked to information literacy and one that I may or may not use. One of the more bigger projects is the one that I talked about last time, the one that was an essay focusing on Hmong culture after we've already discussed kind of ethnographic aspects of Hmong culture in class. Students select a folk tale, describe it in light of Hmong culture, and then look from the internet for some kind of an artifact and discuss that artifact in light of some of the features that they've identified in the folk tale. So it's kind of an analysis and a synthesis too. So I trialed it kind of without a whole lot of planning last semester, and it went pretty well. Students found it pretty interesting. Then the new project this semester is information literacy research linked to a debate. Previously, students got a topic and they had a debate in class and they didn't do any additional research. So it was just based on background knowledge. So this time it's a multi-step project. It starts with them signing up for groups. So my class is 30 students, there'll be 6 groups. Then they'll be working on 3 kind of related debate topics. They'll be assigned to either the pro or the con side of those topics. Then they start with research, with kind of planning their research, and that's Vang will come in and introduce some of the databases. And we'll try to use both academic databases as well as regular internet sources. So that part is done in class. Then they'll individually be identifying, and they'll also plan kind of the related questions that they need to research, kind of search words that they must use or will try to use. After that, they will work individually on items that their group leader has asked them to do. That will then lead to another group meeting where they're going to put their information together and plan an outline. And then they will work individually on PowerPoint slides for the debate, for the opening statements of the debate. And those slides will go to the group leader, who will then kind of format them. And then we will have the in-class debate, the kind of opening statements and a little bit of planning time, and then rebuttals. One thing that I'm learning is that I probably did not allocate enough time in my syllabus for some of this. So I'm going to a conference one day, and that's actually very convenient because then they will be working in groups on some of this. Because I'm afraid if they have to do it outside of class, things may not go as smoothly, even if they can do it on Blackboard.
So who is supervising the class then?
They are going to work individually.
On their own, during
Absolutely.
their class time.
Yes, and they can meet in class or they can meet in the coffee shop, yes. And for each of those steps, something is turned in. So there's accountability kind of built in. So they still have another paper and project to do. So this is not their only project. So this one is not essay writing intensive the way it's planned right now, but it is research intensive. And it certainly involves writing, more like technical writing, and creating arguments for oral presentation. So I think it's going to be engaging, and I'm pleased that a lot of the students are transfer students, and they're going to be using some of these library resources and databases for the first time. So I think that will be really pretty powerful too. So we'll see how it goes.
I'm John Bynum from the English department, and the course that I'm working on is a senior seminar for our undergraduates. It's a culminating experience for them. So it's a fairly rigorous course in terms of workload, reading and writing. The topic for this course changes depending on who's teaching the class. So it's a senior seminar, and it depends on the faculty. They can choose the topic they want. The course that I had taught before, and the one that I submitted the syllabus for, was a lesbian and gay literature course. And since I've taught that course, I've now converted that to a course with its own number that satisfies another requirement in the major. And I'm teaching that this semester. And so I thought it's convenient for me to test out some of this stuff in that class, given that the content of the previous syllabus is the same, more or less the same, is this one. However, when I teach the class in the fall, and when I submit the project, it will be for a different topic. So, but the goals of the course are the same. What I've done this semester is embed in the syllabus 12 different information literacy assignments that are simpler and lower stakes at the beginning, but they function cumulatively so that the information and the skills that they acquired in the early assignments will hopefully be helpful to them in the later assignments. And all of the assignments are designed with an eye toward writing a substantial final researched argument. The assignments are all tied into content as well. So, for example, we begin reading The Picture of Dorian Gray on Monday, and the assignment for Monday that they'll be turning in is evaluating Wikipedia articles. And so I've given them 6 different topics related to the novel, which they have to evaluate, not just read, but they have to do some looking under the hood in Wikipedia to find out what the page history is, what the discussions have been about that page, information on how to go about evaluating Wikipedia articles, because I sort of figured they're going to go to Wikipedia, so we might as well let them know what Wikipedia is and then what it's not useful for. So far they've completed 2. One of them was an assignment on using dictionaries, both kind of household or collegiate dictionaries, and the Oxford English Dictionary online. And they compare the kinds of information they got from each. They were really excited about that when they came to class and talked about that. Some of the students said, I never knew about this. Had I known, I must have graduated senior. I wish I'd known about this resource. The second assignment was looking things up in general and subject-specific encyclopedias. And again, they were really excited about that. They had no idea that there was such a thing as an encyclopedia of women's studies, for example, or an encyclopedia of LGBTQ studies. So they found things that I didn't know about. So far, the students have been enthusiastic. Each of these assignments is accompanied with some kind of a reflection, at least a paragraph worth, sometimes a short essay worth of reflection, so that they can provide me with instances of their writing, and I can kind of tie in writing with information literacy assignments.